Welcome, everyone. In this briefing, we're going to take some really fascinating research and turn it into a practical guide for you, Nepal's local leaders. We're going to get to the bottom of why some water projects succeed spectacularly while others just seem to falter, and, most importantly, what you can do to make sure they last. Let's start with a question that I know probably keeps a lot of you up at night. You do all the hard work, you secure the funding, you oversee the construction, and a brand new water system gets installed. But just a few years down the line, it's not working right. It's a really frustrating cycle, isn't it? Well, this explainer is all about how we can break that cycle.
So to get there, we'll quickly run through 5 key areas. We're going to start with a really cool idea called the ownership paradox, then look at how you actually build that sense of ownership. We'll dig into the evidence from right here in Nepal, talk about a crucial limitation we need to know about, and then wrap it all up with a clear 3-point action plan you can use pretty much immediately.
Okay, first step, let's tackle this thing called the ownership paradox. It's a simple idea, but it is so powerful. The long-term success of a water system, well, it's not really about who legally owns it on some piece of paper. It all comes down to whether the community feels like they own it.
And that feeling, it has a name: psychological ownership. It's that deep, personal sense that a project belongs to you, to your community. All the research shows that this feeling is the secret sauce, It's what motivates people to actually care for, maintain, and protect their water system for years and years.
So, if this feeling is so critical, the big question is, how do we create it? Well, the research points to 3 main pathways for developing this powerful sense of ownership.
And these paths, they're actually really intuitive when you think about it. First, people have to get to know the system up close and personal. Second, they need to invest a little piece of themselves in it, through their own effort or resources. And third, they have to feel like they have some real control, a real voice in the decisions that matter. When those 3 things click, a project totally transforms from being the government's project to our water system.
Okay, so let's shift from theory to what actually works on the ground. A recent study, which was done with Helvetas right here in the Karnali and Sudurpashchim provinces, looked at exactly which participation activities are the most effective. So this isn't some abstract theory. This is real evidence from our own communities.
And what they found was that 3 specific actions really move the needle on that feeling of ownership. Number 1, getting community members to contribute their own labor or materials. Number 2, making sure they can attend the Water User Committee meetings. And number 3, making absolutely certain their voices and opinions genuinely shape the project's decisions.
Let's just hang on that first point for a moment, because it's just so important. When community members physically get their hands dirty building the system, something much more than just pipes and taps gets constructed.
This is a perfect illustration of that investing the self idea we just talked about. Their sweat, their effort, it builds a real, emotional connection to the nuts and bolts of the system. They aren't just sitting back and receiving something, they are co-creators. That tap isn't just a tap anymore. It's a direct result of their hard work, and you better believe they'll be more invested in protecting it.
But this is really important. The research also found a critical nuance. As powerful as psychological ownership is, it does have its limits. There was one area where, surprisingly, it had no effect at all. So here's the fascinating part. A strong sense of ownership absolutely led people to take better care of the system, but it didn't actually improve the technical quality of the water itself. For instance, it didn't reduce things like E. coli contamination. So what's going on there? Why not?
Well, the answer is all about recognizing the different roles people play. The community at large, they're fantastic at the day-to-day care, making sure everyone uses the system properly and just building that general acceptance. But tasks like complicated repairs or testing for water quality, well, that takes specialized technical skill. That responsibility has to fall on the trained members of the Water User Committee. Ownership empowers the community to do its part, but it's not a substitute for technical expertise.
All right, so let's pull this all together into a clear, simple action plan. This is what all the evidence tells us you should focus on to make your next water project a real long-term success.
Really, the action plan boils down to 3 key questions for every new project. Number 1, how are we creating real, meaningful opportunities for people to contribute their own labor and materials? Number 2, how are we making sure their input isn't just heard, but that it actually influences decisions? And 3, what are we actively doing to make the Water User Committee meetings accessible and get people to show up? If you focus on these 3 things, you will build the psychological ownership that is the bedrock of sustainability.
So at the end of the day, this evidence gives you the power to shift from just building infrastructure to building true community ownership.
The question I want to leave you with to take back to your teams and to your communities is this: how will you help your communities truly own their water future?